Good evening. Hope you're all well. Hope you can hear me. Should be able to because the bar's bouncing. Thank you very much for coming and joining me for another Friday Night Live. Hope you're all well. Hope you've all had an amazing week and ready for this marvellous weekend. So, as the title says, it's all about tool control. I know there's a lot of beginner turners who watch the channel, and I know a lot of people struggle with tool control, so I thought we'd just cover a few basics on tool control tonight. So I'm just going to turn something round and brown, no colouring, no fancy stuff, just round and brown, and then we're just going to talk a little bit about tool control, and then hopefully it's going to help somebody in the chat or who watches this later on. If it just gets rid of one little niggly problem everybody's got or one person's got, then it's worthwhile doing. So with further ado, let's get over to the lathe. I'm on my own again tonight. I quite enjoyed last week on my own. Brian's busy, Terry's busy, so I'm making the most of it while the peace and quiet carries on. So I had a few good comments that people quite enjoyed the live with just myself, so I'm going to be doing a few more of those as well, I believe. So anyway, further ado, let's get on to it. I'll go over to the lathe, then we'll welcome you all in. So first off, let's get over to the lathe, turn some lights on. Get over to the lathe and turn, oh, wrong camera, we want that camera there. So overhead camera on, so just get some lights on. So let's just quickly welcome people in. If you can't hear me, put it in the chat, but I'm sure you can hear me. So let's welcome some people in. So I'm going to have to go over to the other computer because the chat has scrolled right to the top now. So we had him first. Pete from Twisted Trees, Norman Greenwell, Rob from Copper our Woodturning, Norman Greenwell, Jen's Danish Wood Art or Woodturner. Welcome, Jens. Hope you're well. Barry Oak from Barry's Wood Creations, Joe Gruffalo, Lucy, hi Lucy, Alan Gear by Alan, Todd, hi Todd. Hayley from Wood and Burl, hi Hayley, hope you're well. Malcolm Douglas, hi Malcolm. Robert Broughtwood, hi Robert, hi Vinny. Christine and Michael, hi, hope you're both well. Let's have a look, scroll through this. God, you lot can talk. So, Stuart, hi Stuart, hope you're well. Stuart's on next week, by the way. Stuart is our special guest airworm for next week, so make sure you can come and check that. I'm sure it's next week, I think it's the 20th. Stuart, correct me if I'm wrong. Albert Dawson, hi Albert, hope you're well. I think that is everybody. If I haven't said anybody's name who's in the chat, come over and say hello, and I'll read it out on this chat over on this screen here. So I think that was everybody. Right, so let's get on with this. So I have a piece of yew, as you can see here, piece of yew. It's got a nasty crack down the middle there, but I'm hoping that we're going to turn that away. This is a piece that I was given by Barry Oak from Barry's Wood Creation, and it was half a tree. Well, not half a tree, you know, but sliced down the middle. So what I did is I cut off the bark side of it, trimmed it down, and turned it into a blank. And I'm hoping with all this here, I can turn all this away from it. So we're going to see what we're going to. But like I said, tonight it's all about basic tool control. I want to try and help people with their tool control. So let's get it mounted. As always, I've put a 54mm Forstner bit in there to hold it in our chuck. So we're going to hold it into there, mount it on our lathe, make sure it's nice and tight. Not that way, Steve, the other way. Hi Susan, how are you? Hope you're well. Oh, sorry, Fred Gilliver. Everybody say hi to Fred Gilliver. Sorry, Fred. Right, so first thing I'm going to do is round this off. I always cut my blanks on my chop saw because I don't like to do them on my bandsaw and end up taking the set off the blade. So I always do them on my chop saw. So what I do is I mark them all out of a compass. I then cut them at 45 and then I cut them at 22.5, which gives me what we've got here. So we're going to remove this outer section on this edge and get this nice and round, and then we'll gradually progress on from there. So what I'm going to do is, to create this cut, I'm going to be bringing in the gouge low. So if we come onto this camera, you should be able to see that. So if I zoom that right out, so you can see I've got my gouge low, handle's quite low, gouge is quite high up, and I'm going to be using a push cut to use across there. So I'm going to engage the cut, and I'm going to gently rub the bevel on the base plate, on the base of the bowl, and gently cut that across. Okay, so let's come back in there, and you should be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to start the lathe off low as always, because we've just started up. Dance with Arvox, hello, hope you're well. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Susan. Right, so a bit of speed, handle low, remember the basics, ABC to anchor. We're going to get the bevel rubbing, and then we're going to create our cut. So just gently going to feed that across. Now I might have to do this in a couple of passes because it's quite some nasty corners on there. So we're just going to come along there without eating it, and we're just going to pass that along to clean off that edge. We're going to come and do it again. We're just going to keep doing this until we get it clear. Nice sharp gouge, so we ain't really got to force it. Oh, the gouge will do all the work. So we're going to stop it and check it. So we just got a little bit more there and there, so we're not quite round yet. So you can do a pull cut across if you want to, but I always prefer to do a push cut. Feel a little bit more in control, and you get a bit better cut with a push cut. So I'm just going to do that gently across there, and I'm just gently letting the bevel rub against the bit of wood, not pushing hard onto it. So as we come to the end, we're just going to ease off, and just ease over the edge, like so. Just trim that off. That should be round now. There you go, perfectly round. So as always, folks, if you want to ask a question, please put Q's, capital Q's in front, because then I can see the questions. Right, so we're round. So what we're going to do is just going to start cleaning this face up. This is the bandsaw cut side, so we're going to clean this face up a little bit so we get a nice smooth finish on here. Going to make sure that our gouge is in middle, and you can see that's a little bit high there. So we're just going to drop the tool rest a little bit, which is much better there. So again, handle low, and I'm going to be using this blade, the edge of the blade here. If I come in with my handle high, I'm scraping. I don't want to scrape, I want to cut. We want a nice slicing action. So I'm going to keep my handle low, riding this part of the gouge along the edge of the bit of wood, nice and gently, just to create that nice shear cut across there, or nice pull cut across there. So we're going to come in and pick up the cut, and I'm just going to come in gently, just to pick up that cut. We're just going to do that just until we get it nice and smooth. So you can see we've got some nice shavings coming off of there. If we brought a handle in like that, we end up scraping it, and we just end up with little bits coming off of it. We don't want that. We want to cut it, so we want some nice shavings coming off of it. So we've just got a little bit of a humpy bit there. That's it. It's all nice and smooth now. So it's all nice and smooth. So now we can find our centre. I'm going to actually put a tenon on the bottom of this. The reason being, if we get chance, I'll mount it in the cold jaws and just take the tenon off. If not, I'll do it later on over the weekend. So we're going to find our centre. So I'm using the SC2 chuck. So I want a 46mm tenon. So I'm going to rough eye up there. Just rough mark that. And I'm going to make that slightly wider because we can gently cut it back to the gauge. So we're going to make it slightly wider. So I'm now going to bring in my gauge, and start creating an area for my tenon. So I can remove some of this waste out of the way as well. We don't want this. So exactly the same cut as we did earlier to clean the bottom of our bowl up. Nice, slow, gentle passes. If you go too quick, you'll end up with swirl marks in it. I know it don't matter at the moment because we're just removing waste, but it'd be nice just to have a little bit of control. So I'm going to make my tenon around about 3 to 4mm. I can do, Pete, if you want me to. So let's just get this mounted. Right, so getting the correct mounting or chucking point is quite important. If you don't get the correct chucking point, whoops, wrong way. If you don't get the correct chucking point, then you may struggle with getting it mounted correctly into your chuck. So I've designed this. This is for the record power chucks, but I also do one for the Axminster chucks with the C jaws and the O'Donnell jaws. So that's the SK100 and SK114. And what this does gives you the optimum mortise and tenon sizes for the SC1 and 2 and the SC3 and 4 chucks with standard jaws. So the idea is that obviously with a tenon we want that to fit nice and snug over there, 46mm, and if you was doing a mortise then you would use that part there, but we're doing a tenon, so I'm gradually going to nibble back and get that so that's a nice snug fit on there. So don't put one of these on when the machine's running because it's plastic, it will melt, so it's a case of stopping and starting the machine, but it's just about a case of just nibbling back and getting it right. So we're just going to nibble back until we get it right, and it's just a case of keep stopping it. Once you get the right size, it's easy, it's just getting it right. So we just want a little bit more off, so I'm just going to sneak up on that, making sure we've got a nice tight line on the bottom there. Put a little tiny dovetail on it. So just a little bit, whoops, just a little bit more. It's because the tool rest is too low. See? Tool rest was too low. So let's take that off and do it again. We'll mark where that is. Take that away. Should have stopped it and just moved the tool rest up a little tiny bit. I could hear it chattering, but rather than moving it, I just left it where it was. Right, let's try again. Hi Roy, how you doing, bud? Right, so that's the right size now. We just need to clean that top edge off and make it a little bit longer. So I'm just going to clean that top edge off, make sure we get it flat. Right, so now we're just going to nibble into the bottom of that and make sure we've got a nice transition at the bottom. Nice tight square cut in the bottom there, so when we grab it the jaws nudge up against the bottom of it and they don't push away when we're grabbing it. So that's our tenon created. Now we can create our mortars. Good evening Rob, how are you? Hi Lionel, how are you? So now we can start creating our shape. It's quite a big blank. This is quite a deep blank. It's got to be, what is it, 75mm deep. So it's quite a deep blank. So we're going to end up with quite a deep bowl. So we'll see what we can get and then go from there. Hi Kev, how are you? So Pete was on about stance and what was the question? Pete, where's Pete's screaming there? Talk about aim of the beginners. You should talk about foot position and body movement. Right. So Pete was on about movement of the body. So when you're turning, you want to be stood comfortable where you finish. So this is where I'm comfortable, as you can see here. Well, let me just open this up a little bit. Wrong way. So this is where I'm comfortable. So as you can see, I'm in line with the bowl. So what I need to do is I need to come over this side. And as I come round, I'm comfortable where I finish. So it's rocking on your leg. So I'm going over onto my right leg, putting all the weight on my right leg, and as I come round, I'm then transferring my body weight from my right to upright. So I'm comfortable when I stop. You see so many people turn and they're around here, and then they can't get no further because the gauge is hitting them in their body. You need to be able to bring bring the gouge around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some pull cuts here, and then we're gradually going to work our way around, and you'll see me moving my body. Once the tool's locked in place and I've got the cut, I'm moving my body, I'm not moving the tool. So let's make a start, get rid of a lot of this. So we're going to remove some of this. So at the moment most of the movement is all in the arms. But once we start coming around the corner there, then that'll transfer over to the body. So we're going to stop it, move our tool rest around a little bit. So now I'm going to start rocking my body. So I'm going to find my position, lock it. I'm going to be rocking backwards and forwards now. So you see I find my cut, and I start rocking with my body. So it's all in the body movement now. My tool is locked in place. I've got that cut, and I'm just moving my body backwards and forwards. So I'm going to keep my tool rest as close as I can to the piece to give me, so there's not so much tool overhanging. The least tool you have overhanging the tool rest, the more security and the more control you have over your tool. So again, I'm going to come in, lock it up, and then bring that round. Yeah, woodcut's lovely, absolutely beautiful. Look at them ribbons off there, stunning. So as I'm coming around, I'm just going to keep moving my tool rest round. So let's zoom this back in a little bit now. Bring in that one so you can see what I'm doing. It's a bit too close, that one, isn't it? So again, find my stance. Now I'm moving so I'm past, my body's now here, so I'm now past where I want to be, so I'm now bringing that in around that corner. And you see the nice ribbons I'm getting off of it? If I come in scraping it, I'm getting little fine ribbons. I want nice strong ribbons, because at the moment all I'm doing is removing waste. Once we get to the shape we want, then we can look at start getting finer cuts. So just keep doing exactly the same so we get that perfectly round, the shape we want. So we've got a crack there, but I don't think there's going to be a lot I can do about that crack. We just hope it doesn't break out when I turn it out. So we've got a little bit of tear out there. That's perhaps where I've been a little bit aggressive, but we can get rid of that. So we're just going to do some gentle cuts on there now just to refine this. Hopefully just to get rid of that little bit of tear out. That's better. Got rid of that bit of tear out we had in there. We've got a little bit there, but we ain't got that far yet. So let's just move our tool rest around a little bit and just finish that little bit there off. So nice and gentle. You see the little fine whispery shavings I'm getting come off? Just with a nice gentle pass. So we're getting a little bit of bounce where this crack is. And we've got a little bit of tear out in there still, so I'm going to try and get rid of that. So I've still got a little bit of a hump there. So just get rid of that. Hi Michael, how are you? Hampton Woodturners, hello, how are you? Thanks for coming over. So I'm looking here at my shape, and I've just got a little bit of a flat spot just there. I just want to get rid of. So let's just get rid of that. Let's put a little bit of tear out back in. Goodness sake. Let's try again. So, tool low. Nice, soft, gentle passes. This wood has got soft bits in it for some reason. Whether it's starting to go, I don't know, but I think... Don't know if I'm going to get it or it's just going to be worse. That's a bit better. Old Man River, hi. Sorry, I'm terrible with names. I can't remember your name. Charlie's in, I take it as well. Everybody's saying hi, Charlie. Hi, Charlie. Right, so that's the shape I'm going to go for. That's what I want. So let's just quickly get that sanded up. So making sure we've got dust extraction on because there's a bit of U. Obviously, dust extraction any time, but even more so being U. So because I've got those, where that there is, there's a little bit of tool marking in there. There's a little bit of tear out in there. I'm just going to use a bit of 80 grit to get rid of that to start with. And then we're going to quickly go up the higher grits. So, quickly sand this up. So, using inertia sander, it's all in the wrist control, rocking the body backwards and forwards and rocking your wrist at the same time. So we're just going to stop that, make sure we've got rid of all the tear out and all the tool marks. So there's a little tiny bit there, so just a little bit more of this. Just quickly run this over. Rob's getting excited now. Bit of sanding. Right, so that's got rid of that. So now we're going to quickly go through the grits. So I'm just going to quickly run up to 400 grit. So 320, this is 320. and then finally 400. So that's up to 400 grit. So we've got a nice smooth finish on there. Roll the dust out of the nooks and crannies. So what we're going to do now is we're going to seal this up nice. So we're going to put some cellulose sand and sealer on this. A couple of generous coats to get a nice seal on it. So it's pretty critical to get it sealed correctly. If you don't get it sealed properly, when you come to wax it, you won't get a shine on it. That'll just end up being dull spots on it, and you don't want that. You want a nice shine. So we're just going to give this a nice couple of generous coats. A couple of thin coats, that is, not really heavy, thick coats. But just even coats. Take it up to 800. No, 400 is more than enough. This will be like a mirror when I finish it. Up to 400 grit. So this last little bit, this bit here, and that'll be it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to burnish that off with some shavings. So we're going to get some shavings that came off of it, and we're going to rub that in just to burnish all that back. Don't need to push really hard, but enough to it's a bit softer than that. Just enough to knock that where it's raised back a little tiny bit. So there we go, it's all burnished back. So now we're going to put our final finish on it. So I'm going to put a bit of Hampshire Sheen high gloss wax on there. I did make some shellac, or whatever they call it. We can't get liquid shellac over here, we have to buy it in the flakes. So I did make some. I diluted it in some methylated spirits or denatured alcohol, whatever you guys call it. And I couldn't get on with it, it's too sticky, I don't like it. I'd rather use an oil or a wax, to be honest. But each to their own. So again, a couple of light coats of this, and we're just going to buff that off. The only time I ever got scratches in it, Rob, was if I'm using different, like if I was turning a piece of ash or sycamore and I use shavings from oak or a harder wood, that's when I got scratches. But I don't worry about it too much now, because every time I do a project I clear the floor, so it's I don't get that issue now. So we're just going to gently buff this off. If you get scratches, you obviously might be pushing too hard. You don't need to push hard on it, it's just gentle buffing on it. So just gently buffing this off, and then I will give this a second coat. So that's our first coat of wax. So we're just going to give it a light second coat. Like I say, don't need loads of wax, just a little tiny bit, goes a long way. So we're just going to buff it off again. So what I'm going to do now is just going to bring in a bit of safety cloth. I'm just going to finish buffing it with a little bit of safety cloth. Again, no pressure. Just letting the cloth gently rub over the top of the piece, just to remove any of that excess wax and just buff that up a little bit. So there we have a nice shiny piece. It's got a nice coat on it, and again, if you wanted to, you want a deeper shine on it than that, you could gradually build up the depth of shine with keep applying coats of wax. So I'm just going to blow the wax out of the holes. Got a little bit of tissue on there. If you get wax in a reveal like that, or a bit like that, you can always get a hot air gun and just blow over it, and what it does, it just melts the wax into the wood a little bit better. So anyway, that's the bottom shaped and done. So now we're going to turn this. Hopefully we've got the right size tenon, which we have. Look at that. Happy days. So now we're going to start taking off the inside. So we'll put that away, we don't need that now. So it's the case of we're only using a small tenon, so we don't want to go mad at it. We've just got to take nice gentle passes. I'm going to actually take the top edge of this off, because I may take it past, if you look here, we've got this crack here. So I may take it off past that point there, so then we've not got a chance of that breaking out and flying off. So I'll gradually take that back past that mark, I think. Got one here, I'm hoping that's going to stay, but time will tell, won't it? So we'll see what happens. So let's get it started. So nice and slow. So we're going to come in. Just make sure you can see what I'm doing. Always helps, doesn't it? So let's zoom in a little bit. So let's just move that camera down just a little touch. There you go. Right, so I'm just going to gently nibble this away, and then we're going to come back and then take away this edge bit. I'm going to take that nasty bit out of there first. So gentle, nice and slow, taking that away. So we're going to stop that and see where we are with that bit. So I've got another 1/4 of an inch, I should imagine. So that's so we've got that now, see what we've got. Right, so that's gone now. So we're going to check here, and we've got no actual cracks in this top edge, so hopefully we're going to be good. So let's start removing some of this. So gentle start nibbling out. Remember, the middle's going a lot slower than the outside. I'm keeping my handle low and wide on my bevel, and then just gently lifting my handle to get my cut. So I've got, again, ABC, anchor, handle low, right on the bevel, gently lifting the cut to get my cut, and then I'm gently feeding the tool in. Nice sharp gouge, so you don't need to force it. Remember to have that bevel contact. So now start moving some of this middle out. Like I say, remember the middle's going a lot slower than the outside. So just take it nice and steady. If you're doing a thin walled bowl, then you need to leave something in the middle to give you a bit of stability. But I'm not going to do a thin walled bowl because we've got that bit that's got a bit of a crack in it. So I don't want it to break out on me. So again, it's all in my hip movement. Once I've got the tool where I want it to be, I'm moving my body, not the tool. So a bit of an exaggeration, but as you're going in, you're going uphill, then down, and into your centre. It's a bit of an exaggeration, but that's how you're going. Like, so you're coming in, you're going up, and then you're gradually coming down to find your centre line. That's how the tool works, or how it's working. So I'm picking up my cut, I'm coming in, I'm going uphill. You can see there I'm way above centre, and as I come in there, I'm coming down, lining the tool up with the centre, and just gradually cutting that middle out. So now I need to start thinking about creating the shape on the inside as I am the outside. So now I need to bring my tool over the bed of the lathe. As you can see here, I've got the tool right over the bed of the lathe. So wherever my bevel points is where my tool's going to go. So if I'm here and my bevel's pointing over here, that's where the tool's going to go. So I want to try and copy the shape from the outside to the inside. So I don't want to get to the depth there and then think, oh my god, I've got to take all this out of the corner here. I want to try and do it as I'm going through it. So now I want to start taking a little bit away from there. So I'm going to bring my handle low. It's basically the same, ABC, handle low, getting that cut, and then gradually feeding that tool in. So picking up the cut. So you can see I'm going in at a much steeper angle. So I can start removing some of this waste here. And we can come back and pick up that cut. Take a bit more out of there. I'm going to work on the width, and then I'm going to come back and finish the outside up. So now my movement is in the tool, not in my body, because obviously I can't get my body over to the other side of the lathe. So we're just going to make sure that we're getting it fairly equal, which we are, which we can keep doing that, will be good. So don't be trying to keep stopping the lathe and just checking. You can always take a bit off, you can't put it back on. Alright, so we're just going to keep, I'm going to change to a sharp gouge now. So I'm just going to keep nibbling that down. So I'm going to come in there, gradually pick up that cut. So now I know I've got that bit there fairly equal. I know if I get a 3mm cut here, I've just got to carry on that 3mm all the way around, and then I know that that should stay the same all the way around. So it's just a case of once I've got the thickness I'm taking off there, just keep adjusting it until I get that continuous thickness all the way around. So picking up my cut, I'm going to keep watching that cut, and as long as I keep that the same thickness all the way around, I know that my bowl should stay the same continuous thickness all the way around. The thinner it gets, the more you'll notice the difference. Don't do that. Shorten my handle a little bit. Lift the tool up a little, the tool rest up just a little touch. Don't taste very nice. So I'm a bit dubious of that crack here. I've got a crack there, and I'm looking for it to come through here. It's now starting to appear in there, so I'm not going to go no thinner than that, I don't think. Put a little bit of a chamfer on this just to make that a little bit better. It's actually getting a bit thicker from there to the bottom, so we can pick up the cut here and reduce that a little bit in there. Let's zoom in a little bit, so we can pick up from here and just reduce that. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to pick up my cut from here. Just gently make that a little bit thinner in there, like so. I'm going to check it again. Much better, just a little bit more, a little bit lower this time. Pick up from about there. That's much better, much better. So I'm just going to put a little bit of a chamfer on that, so that's sloping in a little bit, not a great deal, just a little tiny bit, so just a gentle pass on there. And what we'll do when we're sanding it, we will remove all the sharp edges. We will remove this sharp edge here, and we'll remove the sharp edge from there. So I'm going to remove this waste out of the middle here now. So a couple of little back cuts. Actually, I'm going to move my tool resting a little bit closer. Like so. So a couple of little back cuts. So bring in this and get rid of this waste in here. So my tool rest is a little bit high now, so I need to bring that down a little bit. So just remove that a little bit. Now you're alright backholing as long as you don't catch that wing on the outer edge of your bowl. That's when you're going to get a catch. So if you're back hollowing, you're fine as long as you don't catch that wing on here. As soon as you bring that there and catch that, that's when you're going to get a catch. So just once you get close, just remove the cut and start doing a push cut rather than a pull cut. So we're going to come in here and gradually pick up this cut. So making sure we ain't got that hump in the middle, just gently nudging the gouge up. So we can take a little bit more out of there. That's a little bit thick in there, so we can just take a little bit more out of there. That's better, much better. Still a little bit thick, just there. So let's try and get rid of that. That's better. Happier with that. Much happier with that. Much happier with that. I think it might be a little bit of worm in there. So if there's any questions that I missed, let's have a look. Shellac, a lot of talk about shellac. Hi Matthew, how you doing? Questions on thoughts on nave speed. When Martin Demon for us, he said no, go higher than 800. When Lee said about, depends on what you want to do. This is down to your preference. If you're doing spindle work, obviously you need more speed. Bowl work, I perhaps turn my bowls anywhere between 800 and 1000 RPM. But if I'm doing spindle work, then I'll perhaps be up 2000 nearly. So it depends on how you feel about it. And like a lot of people have just said in the chat, depends on the size of the piece as well. Obviously, the bigger the piece, the less speed you want. But it's your principle, it's your preference, Matthew. It really is. Right, so we're going to sand this up quickly. So I'm going to go outwards. Again, we've got that little crack in here, so I'm a bit worried about that, hoping that's not going to crack out. So we're going to slow the lathe down a little bit. So I'm just going to gently sand this up. So my first grip's just to get rid of any imperfections. I'm just going to check it. Just a little bit there. A little bit chattery there for some reason. No, I'm going to get a scrape. It feels like there's like a little flat in there, and I don't like it. So I'm just going to get a scraper in there and just run a scraper in that corner. Just there it is. Just there. So probably being a bit of you, that shouldn't get any tear out of that. better, much better. Just feel a bit of a flat in there, so just got rid of that. Right, so let's get rid of that now. So I'm just going to lose this sharp edge off of here. But I might keep that one there because I quite like that nice sharp edge going in there. Got a little bit sticking out of there. That's better, much better. It flows in now. There's not that. It's got rid of that flat that was there. So, quickly rub that over there, get rid of that. I use a drill on the inside because it's easier than using a inertia sander on the inside. If you use an inertia sander, it seems to take forever to sand the inside. Using a drill makes that a little bit quicker, but I enjoy sanding the outside with the inertia sander. I quite like the achievement of getting it from not perfect to perfect just by using the hand sander. I know that sounds a bit sad, but that's how I feel. But inside, I find I get a better finish because you get a little bit more speed. And doing it here, as the drill's turning that way, the ball's coming that way, so it actually cuts into it. So it's quite nice. Get quite a nice finish with it. Right, so let's go up, quickly sand this up to 400 grit. So I'm going to keep stopping it, making sure that I've not missed any. Like that little bit there. Right, final one you'll all be glad to hear. So that's all sanded now up to 400. Oops. So a nice smooth 400 finish. So what we're going to do now is we're going to seal it, and then we're going to wax it to match the outside. Clean my glasses so I can see. Question from Robert. Steve, do you wipe your piece between grits? Sometimes, often, when you're doing with oak or hardwoods, I know you class as a hardwood, I think it is, isn't it? Then yeah, but not normally, no. You can do, I mean, it's your preference at the end of the day. If it was a dirty old bit of wood and it was black and horrible, then maybe, but on something that's quite clean, then no. Right, so cellulose sand and sealer, same as before. Again, we're going to seal it really well. So a couple of light coats. So I just need to come around this edge where obviously I've sanded the sharp corner off. So we need to just come around there. So we're going to mark it on there. And we're just going to get on that edge where I've sanded that, because we want that to try and flow into the back. So we need to make sure we just wax that as well when we wax it up. So that's our first coat. Let that flash off, and then we'll give it a second coat. Hi Baz, how you doing, buddy? So that's all flashed off now, so we can give it a second coat. So again, it's about a couple of real thin coats. So that'll do for that. Put the gouge away now, don't need that no more, do we? I'm good, mate. I'm very good, thank you very much. Very good indeed. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to bring back some shavings and we're going to burnish the inside like we did the outside. So I'm going to use some of these nice soft shavings that I used from the inside. We'll just use them to burnish up that piece Again, I'm not really pushing on, I'm just gently holding them there just to burnish that up. There we go, so that's all burnished up. So you can see we've got a little bit of a sheen there already. Actually, I didn't do that edge, did I? So let's just do that edge. Because we want that to come round where we've waxed that. So we can't see the transition line. So let's just blow that muck out of there. So we're going to bring back our high gloss. Yes, Baz. I'm going to be doing a few more on my own, I think, because people seem to like it. So I'll have the guys in every now and again, but not all the time, I don't think. But we'll see what happens. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. You know what it's like. So we're just going to wipe that over that edge as well, so we can try and feather that back in. So just gently buff this off to a nice shine. So that's our first coat, so we'll just give it another light coat. So I'm just going to let that flash off. So let's get this polished off. Hi Paul, how you doing? So just gently polish this up. So I'm going to do exactly the same as I did before. I'm just going to take all the excess wax off with the cloth or the tissue, and I'm going to bring a piece of safety cloth in and use that just to finish it off, just to give me that final little bit of shine. So bring my safety cloth back just to gently buff it up. Right, so there's our nice shiny bowl. Get rid of that wax out of there. Because that will go white if you're not careful. I think that little bit in there is a bit of tissue actually. Let's just see if we can pick it out. There you go. So there we have a nice shiny bowl. So now we just got to remove the tenon. What's the chances of the coal jaws being the correct size? Very slim, I'd say. But we'll try. Let's have a look here. Right, so let's get this chuck off. Right, so coal jaws. Thanks, Roy. Hi, Door. How are you? Door 60. Hope you're well. Right, so what's the chances? What's the chances? Whoa, I bet it's going to be too big, isn't it? Yeah, you should get yourself some Barry, and turn it. It's too big, isn't it? Yeah, look. Oh, it's always in the wrong place. Always in the wrong place. Right, so that means I've got to move them one in. Just talk amongst yourselves while I move these buttons for the 6,497th time. Good job there's only 8 of them, isn't it? So we're just going to quickly change these and we'll quickly take off the bottom, the tenon off the bottom. It won't take many minutes just to take the tenon off and just quickly sand it up, get it finished. And then that'll be done out of the way. What am I doing? That one, I lost counting. Yew is a very nice wood. It's turns stunningly, and you can get a beautiful finish on it. Absolutely beautiful. You mean that's not? You mean the mirror finish I've got on that, and it's not really. I've not worked hard at it. Really do get a nice finish on you. Just remember, it is toxic. So be careful. Right, so that's all the buttons changed. So let's open up a little bit and get yeah, let's get this back in here. So turn that button around there a little bit, turn that one around there a little bit, make sure they're all lined up. Alright, so we don't want to nip this too tight because obviously we've got that crack in there. We just want enough just to hold it in place. So what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be pushing into the bowl to clean that up. So I'm going to be using a spindle gouge, and we're actually going to come in and we're going to push into the piece to keep the support into the cold jaws. Remember, with cold jaws you can only run about 600 RPM. Depending on the manufacturer, depending on what speed you can run at. These you can only run about 600 RPM. So that is what we're going to run at. So we're just going to come up and creep up on it and just gently take off that tenon. This is when you find out if you've gone too deep in the bottom of your bowl. So in the middle is going to be really slow, because obviously that's turning a lot slower than the outside. So we're just going to gently nibble that away. Now, depending on how you want your bottom of your bowl, is depending on what you put on there. I'm just going to do it so it's got a slight undercut on it, so it sits actually on this little bit here rather than on the whole foot. So I'm going to come back here, pick up my cut, and just gently do a push cut in there. Nice and slow. Like so. So it's got a little bit of a hump there, so that's better, much better. Right, so that's it. Just going to sand that quickly. Just one more cut. No, I don't want. It's quite. I left a good chunk in the bottom of it. It's about 6-7 mil thick in the bottom, but I'm not doing no more than that. So I'm just going to quickly sand this up with the sander. So just gradually build this up to a 400 grit finish like we've done the rest of him. I want to try and flow this in really, so we can't see that it's been sanded afterwards. So what I'm doing is I'm gradually, every time I get a next grit, I'm going slightly further out. So I'm basically feathering like you would if you was doing paintwork on a car. With every higher grit, you're just moving further out. So what you're doing is just gradually feathering in that work line rather than being in one place. So this is the final one. So gently going to go a little bit further with this one, just to feather that out. And hopefully once we sand that, seal that, we shouldn't see where that's been blended in. So as you can see there, you can see that line coming in round there. You shouldn't see that once it's all sanded and sealed. So let's just get a little bit of sealer on that. Don't want a massive amount, just a little tiny bit. So let's just get that sealed. So I'm just trying to feather that in roughly where my finish line is, because I don't want to see that transition line where I've sanded out. So like so. So now we're going to just gently, I'm not going to use shavings this time, I'm actually going to use a bit of tissue to burn, and that'll do the same job. Hi Terry, how the devil are you? Right, so we're just going to buff this up. Got a sneaky feeling the bearings in my lathe are starting to go. They're starting to make a rumble noise. So we're just going to get a little bit just take that a little bit higher. I'm just burnishing that with a cloth, and that'll do the same as if we was doing it with shavings, but I don't want to scratch the rest, so I'm only doing it with a clean cloth. And then we're just going to bring in a little bit of wax. That's too much, Stephen. Just a little bit of wax, and we're just going to bring that in, and then hopefully we won't see where I've sanded that. So we're just going to gently buff this out. Good to hear it, Terry, good to hear it. Right, so that's the nice shine, and you shouldn't be able to see where I sanded up to. Let's have a look, because the camera will pick up if you can. So let's have a look. Can you see it? Can you see the line, transition line? Hopefully not, but let's just get a bit of cloth on that and clean it up. Just polish up a little bit. This Sunday, Terry, this Sunday. I was at an all weekend craft fair last weekend, so I didn't get a chance to do it. So we're doing it this Sunday, mate. Right, so let's get a cloth and clean that, because it's covered in dust. Or we could just use our hands. That'd be easiest way, I suppose. Nice little platform. Let's get this cold jaws out of the way. Thank you, Vinny. Thank you very much appreciated. Right, so at the end of the day, if it helps one person, I'm a happy bunny. So let's what do we want? Let's put it on this camera. So there you go, nice shiny bowl, nicely finished. tenon removed off the bottom, showing about the crack in it, but it is what it is. It's a piece of wood at the end of the day. You can't make everything perfect, can you? So it's alright for a practice piece. Really nice piece of wood. It's a shame about the cracks in it, but it's a really nice piece of wood. Finished really, really well. Nice finish on that. So anyway, there we go. Like I say, it was all about the tool controllers. You see I put a little bit of a dip in there, so it's actually sitting on this part of the bowl, not on the whole bowl. So that'll get rid of that. Just gives you a nice little shape on it, so it just sits on the edge, just sits on this rim here, So yeah, good finish. No, it's not footed. Hashtag week is not footed bowl, Frederick. We did that last month, mate. So that'll be something totally different. Thank you very much, everybody, for the kind words. I really do appreciate it. As long as you've enjoyed it, that's the most important thing. Something to do in it, something better than sitting and watching EastEnders or whatever it was, or whatever you watch. But it's something different, So let's come back on this camera here. So I'll just show it on there. There you go. Nice shine on it, as you can see. Really nice shine. Actually, that bit of wood has taken a real good finish. And like I said, I didn't really work hard to get that shine on it either. A little bit more harder work, you could have got a better finish on that. But that is really, really nice piece. Nice piece. So Barry Oak is going to do a live. No, I'm joking. I know Barry Oak is. Oh, Barry from Barry's Wood Crate has got loads of this because he gave me this, and I know he's got loads of you. So I look forward, Barry, to seeing some videos with some you in it. So let me get rid of all these tissues. So if there's any more questions before we go, then quickly put them in the chat. Yeah, I hope so as well, Alan, for sure. Thank you, Susan. Thank you very much, Fred. Thank you, Alan. Thank you very much, Michael and Christine. Hope you have a great weekend. Thank you, Lucy. Yeah, it's all down to the abrasive, Rob. It's nothing to do with the turn. That's all down to the abrasive. Yeah, he's going to do one with you, Roy. I think you're going to do it together, aren't you? That'd be good, wouldn't it? See Roy on live. Roy goes live on TikTok, so you could do a live on YouTube. Yes, just quickly, myself and Rob. If anybody's going to the AWGB seminar, myself and Rob will be there all weekend, from the 4th to the 6th. With Kingsport Abrasives, the Buddy range, and also Hampshire Sheen. We will be there all weekend with those 3 products. So anybody going to the AWGB seminar, come over and say hi. I'm sure Rob has got some giveaways as well that he can give away. But there'll be some really good seminar deals as well on abrasives. So make sure you come over and check us out. And we're hoping to see you all there. That'd be really good. Like I say, I've never been to a seminar before as a trader. I've never been anywhere before as a trader, so it's all new to me. So I'm really, well, half as excited, half as nervous, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But at the end, I'm going to enjoy the weekend no matter what. Free hugs. There you go. Rob's giving free hugs, and I'll give you a number for therapy afterwards. So anyway, it's going to be a great weekend. We're going to have a good laugh, and it's going to be entertaining. I'll be there, Rob will be there, Terry will be there, Brian will be there as well, and I'm sure there'll be loads of other people there as well. So it's going to be a great weekend. Yeah, unfortunately, Frederick, yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? But you never know. Might be one day we get a chance to meet. It would be nice to see a disabled turner give advice and techniques sometime. Well, there are disabled turners out there. There's quite a few disabled turners on YouTube. You just need to go over and watch them. Like I say, I've seen 3 or 4 of them at least. So just have a look and see what happens. Right, other than that, I'm going. So I really do appreciate everybody coming over. Don't forget, next Friday we have Stuart Farini joining us as special guest airworm. And then we will see what happens after that. I will be here Sunday with hashtag week. Nick and I will be here. Nick actually said to me the other night she's looking forward to it because we haven't done one for such a long time. So we're looking forward to coming back on Sunday. Whether she'll be cutting veg or not, I do not know, but time will tell. And then we'll find out what hashtag's going to be. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys think of this month's hashtag. So other than that, you all have a great weekend. And I will see you on the next one. So I will catch you all Sunday. So have a great weekend, guys. Speak to you soon, and bye for now. And thanks very much for coming over and joining us. Bye.
That's all, folks.